Association health plans, a small business healthcare option the Labor Department recently expanded access to, have a somewhat controversial history in the U.S. The plans, commonly known as multiple employer welfare arrangements, or MWAs, were ridden with fraud and insolvency, leaving participants without coverage. That history laid the groundwork for many critics who are concerned about the oversight of AHPs, among other issues. To learn more about that history of fraud and insolvency, I went to the DC Health Benefit Exchange in Washington, D.C. to talk to Mila Kaufman, its executive director. Mila has experience with AHPs both from her time as a federal regulator at the Labor Department and researching them at Georgetown University. Here's what she said.
When I was on faculty at Georgetown, my team and I looked very closely at association health plans. And at that time, there was an influx in health insurance scams, and they were promoted through association health plans. Now, these promoters of fake insurance, and when I say fake, I mean they would collect your premiums and not pay your medical bills, and it looked legit. So at that time, promoters really targeted vulnerable people, small businesses in some cases, mid-sized businesses, and self-employed people who were looking for more affordable health insurance coverage. So promoters would find these victims and they would sell them health insurance that looked legit. You couldn't tell the difference. They would set up fake associations that sounded legit. They sometimes would find real professional and trade associations and sell fake coverage through real associations. And like I said, they would collect premiums and not pay medical bills. By the time that third cycle of health insurance scams was done, thousands of people were left with millions of dollars in medical bills. When you look at the history of these entities, promoters use ambiguity and ERISA as a shield to avoid state oversight action. And I believe the same thing is going to happen now that this rule is final. Promoters of scams are going to come in and they're going to sell phony coverage. They're going to scam small businesses and individuals. And when states try to shut them down, they're going to claim ERISA preemption. And of course, it takes time to litigate those questions. And while states are litigating, these promoters will continue to deplete any assets that are left, any of the premiums that they've collected. So by the time the state wins, there won't be any assets to pay claims with. In addition to having victims of that, I'm concerned about the impact on the rest of the small group and the individual private health insurance market. And the issue here is beyond state exchanges or exchanges. This is the entire private health insurance market for small businesses and for individuals that is at risk. Essentially, the final rule establishes a huge loophole, a huge exemption from requirements that are typically imposed on insurance companies, and requirements and restrictions and rules of the game, essentially. And now these associations could cherry pick the healthiest of the healthy, could sell only to younger and healthier small businesses. They could sell to younger and healthier self-employed people and keep sick people out of their products, which means sicker and older people have to rely on traditional regulated small group and individual coverage. Well, what that means is you only have people with high medical needs buying private coverage, and that raises prices for everyone. And eventually, it forces insurance companies to leave because insurance companies can't stay in business just covering sick people. You need a healthy mix in the risk pool, healthy and sick people, all buying coverage from the same pool.